Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, this is the first time I've ever done this, okay? And it's not gonna matter to you because you're just seeing the final outcome of this, but this is the second time I'm actually recording. Every other video I've done, I've actually just recorded it, watched it, and uploaded it. This one, I watched it, I recorded it, I watched it, and I watched it twice. and I didn't get my message out quite the way that I wanted to. And I'll even kind of reference some of the things that I said. So I'm going to get right to it. I actually had two topics that I was going to, well, I had two topics in mind. I had one, I was ready to share it. And then, throughout my week or weeks, I'm usually, if I'm talking to people or, things that are just going on in life, I'm really trying to pull something out of that to be able to record. And so that happened. This is probably the second or third time that this has happened that I've mentioned that. But so I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about this topic. And then I was like, this one kept coming back to me. So I was like, okay, there's probably a reason for that. So I'm going to come back to the other topic, which just to kind of give you a preview, that one is going to be on for sure burning bridges, or I should say not burning bridges. And I'm not talking about like lighting a match and throwing it and you can still kind of walk on the bridge. We all know what the analogy of not burning bridges means. I'm talking about like lighting that whole matchbook and setting that mug on fire so you can't even walk back across it. That's the focus. And obviously that's probably coming from somewhere. So I will share that whole story, but I will come back to that. Today's topic. All right. So let me kind of give you some backstory on how this came about. I am always listening to podcasts or videos on YouTube, trying to look for like self-betterment type things. And, when you do that on YouTube, a lot of the, whatever topic you listen to, a lot of the other videos will pop up in that same area. And so I was listening to one and the topic kind of caught my attention, and I won't say names or anything, but it was like a radio personality, slash comedian slash actor or something. No, it wasn't Steve Harvey, but I'll just say that. But I was listening to it, and I have to be honest, he was kind of going on this rant about not allowing people to take advantage of you, but his focus was specifically on like your children. And I will just say that a lot of what he was saying I didn't necessarily agree with, but that wasn't necessarily what I keyed in on. What I keyed in on was the fact that in that it felt like there was a whole lot of, people are this and people are doing that and other people and people. And I was like, where's the attention on ourselves where's the attention on you as a person? And you guys know I'm big, on balance, I'm big on perspective. And so I get a lot of times that there are often, more times than not, three sides to a story, right? I mean, there's, his side, her side, if it's that type of relationship. And, the truth is kind of buried wholly in the middle of that, right? And so I was like, okay, there seems to be this big magnifying glass on what everybody else is doing. And so I was like, okay. And so I just kind of paused on that and was focused on that. And so turned it off. And then it kept kind of replaying in my head, just this whole rant. And so I was like, you know what? That there's a topic in there. And so that's what I want to focus on today, which is this. We have to, I honestly, and I'm trying to choose my words carefully because like I said, I recorded this and I was like, I went back to play it and there were some things that I felt like if I didn't elaborate on it a little bit more, it could be taken out of context. This has nothing to do with those extenuating circumstances if someone's like an abusive relationship or, it's not victim shaming or blaming or anything like that. Period. No but. Period. This is about taking responsibility for what we want in our lives. especially if what we want is positive. And that's something I left out of what I recorded before, because as I was listening to it, I was like, well, if I don't kind of elaborate on the fact, because then, we all want different things, and sometimes those things aren't positive, right? Y'all know me, I'm focused on the positive and self-betterment. And, I see a lot of people, my students included, where they're struggling. And, especially younger generation, we've all gone through that when we were younger. It's easy to get caught up in what other people think and what people are doing, especially with social media. Y'all know how I feel about social media, but, it's so easy to just worry about other people and what they're doing and allowing that to impact us in a negative way. I left that off, and that's something that I'm trying to convey. We allow what other people are doing and what they're saying to impact us. Sometimes it's inevitable, right? Especially with those people that are closest to us. So I'm saying all that to say I get that, okay? But what I want to focus on is the fact that, let me put it this way, okay? And I don't mean this in any kind of conceited way. I mean this in a very humble, filled with humility sort of way, okay? Let me just say that. But I love myself. And not only do I love myself, but I like myself. I'm pretty confident. I have, bad days just like everybody else, bad hair day, bad dress, whatever. That happens to me just like everybody else. But for all intents and purposes, I mean, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good, like, with me and myself. I'm always trying to improve in a lot of ways, but I spend a lot of time by myself with me and myself. And so therefore, I think it's very important that I like and I love myself. Liking and loving yourself are two different things, right? Because there's plenty of people that I love. That don't mean that I like them, though. Okay. And so I was like, what is the moral of this? What am I really trying to convey? And it's this, guys. I'm using myself as an example because, I know myself the best, and I know what my purpose is. I know what I enjoy. I know what makes me happy. I know what makes me sad. I know what makes me cry. I know what irritates me. I know what offends me. I know what is just like absolutely that I have zero tolerance for. So I know myself pretty well. And that may sound like kind of weird, but I know there's a lot of people walking around that don't know themselves. They haven't taken the time to really be introspective and to think about who they are as a person. And so because I know all that about me as a person, I know I think I'm a good person. I think I'm a decent person. I think I'm, a positive person. I get that feedback, and, I receive that because I want to be a positive person. I want to be a decent person. I want to be all these positive attributes, but I want to be that for me. I'm not focused on other people necessarily. I'm not doing it for other people, if that makes sense. I'm doing it because that's what makes me happy. And then the residual effect is that, it will benefit other people. And so with that, I'm trying to convey to you that if you know all these things about yourself and you're on this positive path, why let what other people are doing? Like, why are we so hyper focused on that? Guess what? I got 2 feet. So what does that mean? That means if I don't like something, or I say the word energy, and I don't mean that in a kind of weird, like, universal type of way or universalistic type of way. I don't even know if that's a word, but y'all know what I'm saying. But if I don't like the energy of something, if I think it's negative or whatever, I don't have to be around it, because that's not who I am at my core. I should not allow, especially people that are not on a good path, or people that are on a path that's not quite where I'm headed. That's not in a judgmental way. That's do you, whatever makes you happy. But I know what I want, and I know how I want to get there. And I know the influence and the positivity that I want to carry and give to people. Why allow what other people are doing or thinking or saying? So taking that energy that we often put on other people and what we're worried about what they're doing, and flipping it around and being a good type of selfish and putting that on ourselves, because it gets easier when you feel that way. It gets easier to not be so hyper worried about what other people are doing. Now imagine if more of us took that attitude. Imagine if more of us took that attitude of, I'm going to worry about myself. And the thing about it is, I think a lot of people like to say that, but we don't really implement it into our lives, do we? We don't really stop and say, you know what? I feel like going to just sit and listen to some jazz by myself. And just go do it and be good with it and be okay with that. Somebody's going to laugh at that. I just feel like, your friend invites you over and, you just want to hang out and relax at home because that's what you want to do. And this is not to negate the fact that you still, if we're going to have friendships and relationships, it's about balance, guys, and, meeting people halfway. I'm not saying to just shut everybody out your world. I hope you really are getting the message that I'm just trying to convey, in the sense that we've got to learn to just turn that energy around that we put so much on other people. We know that's a lifelong cliche. We cannot change other people, and that hasn't changed, right? But we can do everything within our power to learn ourselves, to learn to love and to like ourselves. And in that way, when you get to that point, it gets easier not to worry about what other people are doing if it's, especially if it's negative qualities. So I think I'm gonna go with that because I don't really want to re-record this a third time. So I hope that, like I said, I listened to that one day and I was like, man, there's so much focus on what other people are doing as opposed to saying, you know what, I'm sorry that you're feeling that way, but I'm gonna continue to be in my positive space and work on me. That way I can project that onto other people and be in a good space, not only for myself, but for the people that come around me. So that is, I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I think that's a better way I wanted to say it. Like I said, I wasn't happy with the way it came out the first time. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to subscribe. I have a small goal that I'm trying to reach by the end of the year with the number of subscribers. I will share that come December 31st. I believe in life goals. I believe in small goals, big goals. So that's just a small one that I have for myself. I hope you have a wonderful week or weekend, depending on when you watch this. And I look forward to recording the next video. See y'all next time.